Speaking of the Cavs, they flipped the script and dominated the third quarter yesterday against the Indiana Pacers, snapping Indy's win streak. Donovan Mitchell was on fire from the get-go, 27 first-half points, which tied a career high. When you look at what happened last night, whether it's the third quarter flip, Donovan getting hot, the little knee tweak to Darius Garland, or even the zone defense that Cleveland deployed on Indiana in the fourth quarter that completely got them out of their offense. Bull, what do you think was the biggest takeaway from last night's win over Indy?
Well, I think there were a lot of things, but I think what was most interesting, you talked about the third quarter thing. We harped on that this week. Kenny Atkinson talked about it coming off the Indiana loss on Sunday. Not only did they have their best third quarter in a while, both offensively and defensively, but it was coming off their only real bad stretch of the game. The last, 3-4 minutes of the first half, the Cavs looked terrible for that about 3-4 minute stretch. The rest of the game, I thought they played great, but they looked like they were about to pull away from the Pacers in the middle of the second quarter, and then they were awful at the end of the first half. And so for them to play that great third quarter, not only with their struggles in the third quarter, but coming off a terrible end to the first half, that really stood out to me. It stood out to me that Kenny Atkinson finally had a coaching point. Hey, guys, here's one thing we're not doing well.
Yeah.
And they took it seriously because they played great in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was my takeaway, too, amongst others. But the biggest one was there was obviously something going wrong in the third quarters. And you're right, Bull. At the end of the second half, it almost felt like they were...
First half.
First half.
Yeah.
In second quarter. It was like they weren't engaged.
Yeah, it was weird.
And I think they had like an 11-point lead, and it was trimmed to 1 point, I think, at halftime. The Pacers just went on a run, and I thought, wow, so they're starting their third quarter slide 3 minutes early. And then they went into the locker room. You know what I would love to know? I would love to talk to one of the players, maybe even Kenny, because he's so transparent, he might actually tell us, what'd you say?
Yeah.
How did you get their attention? Because whatever he said worked. And what I love most about this team, and there's so many things I love, but I love that Kenny Atkinson is real. He's transparent. He answers questions.
Yeah.
Even sometimes when it puts him or his team in a critical light. I thought his answer to your question, Mike, after the loss on Sunday was one of the best reporter-coach exchanges I can remember. Because the question was great and accurate, but the answer was even better. We're doing something wrong. Maybe it's me. Maybe my halftime speeches suck. I don't know. And then to watch the very next game against the very team that beat them in our building, they completely flipped that script in the third quarter. And I thought, man, there is really, not that we already didn't know it, but there is something about this team that is very unique. It's very special.
Yeah.
And it's fun as hell to watch.
And it's just, I love that they're moving all these games to TNT and ESPN. I love watching them on national TV. It's fun.
Because you hear a different perspective.
Yeah, and Shaq in the pregame show, I'm sorry to sidebar the topic, but, man, he was going on and on about how much he loves the Cavs. And I know this, for us, this is not a big deal because we think it, but Shaq in the pregame show went, oh, the Cavs are the best team in the East. And the other guys were like, really? Not Boston? And he's like, no. Cavs are the best team.
I think he's right.
They, first of all, Indiana's scrappy.
They're a good team.
Nimhard and all these dudes. And
that TJ McConnell.
Obi Toppin is hitting threes now.
Little weasel.
And I knew he was going to go.
Listen.
Oh, you'd love him if he's on the Cavs.
Right.
Oh, man.
So he's the new Delhi for them.
Well, Mike, hit it with your line.
Oh, I said that TJ
good.
McConnell is the Michael Jordan of Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah,
he's the peak level of
Highest
Matthew
level.
Dellavedova.
You're right.
He's
That's
just
a good call.
He's a better Matthew.
I ain't even gonna add nothing to that. That was cold.
although, sorry, this has to be said though, because Matthew Dellavedova, his defensive effort in those postseasons against the Warriors, especially, was like nothing we've ever seen before.
They took him out on a stretcher.
The man almost died. He almost died playing defense for his team.
That's
Steph Curry literally almost
left
killed
it
that
all
man.
on the floor.
Yes. And he cut me off for a parking spot once, Dilly, but I love you anyway.
Shout out to God.
G, what were you saying?
Listen, I thought that, and I don't know why, to me, right now, I'm just enjoying watching Darius Garland play basketball.
Yeah.
Right now, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell had to really, came out and jumped out to a nice little, game. But for me, the guy that's stirring the pot right now is Darius Garland because he's getting to his spots and he's getting to the rim. Before, it wasn't like he was getting all the way to the basket and he was a little indecisive in what he wants to do. Now when he gets the ball, like, I don't know if he went to a dribbling camp of some sort, but he's tap dancing on everybody right now. Like, it don't matter. Like, he's getting the ball, he's getting past people, he's getting to this little floater game, he's finishing it feels like, I don't got the advanced analytics, but it feels like he's finishing at the rim at a really high clip.
I'll find that for you.
And he's you follow him, he's getting to the lane. It looks like he understands exactly what he wants to be, where he wants to do it. He's not in between. He's getting to the basket. He's lobbing. He's doing all those things. And when you got him playing the way you playing, and you got Donovan, who I think Donovan was a little angry. I think he was a little angry. He was a little angry because we was talking about it. People was whispering. That's funny with Donovan. If he had 2 bad games, shooting games, I don't know Donovan Mitchell. You know what they saying about him in the playoffs. You'd be like, dang, it's 2 games. They go right to his life points. But he came out angry, ready to go. And then to me, and I didn't see it, man. I did not see it. I actually can see it now where people was talking about Evan Mobley and the unicorn stuff. I actually can see in about another offseason, if he want to continue to do what he is doing right now, Jason, and he clean up his ball handling a little bit more, and he's more confident with the shot, look how efficient that is. 8 to 12, and he got the ball a whole lot in his hands. I think that Evan Mobley could possibly be the best player on the team. And I did not think that was possible with Donovan Mitchell, even on the unicorn status. But if you're going to do this, they run an offense through him, Jason. He bringing the ball up. I seen him throw a backdoor pass to Strus the other day. I said, when did you get that in your basket?
G, real quick on the Garland stats. By the way, if you don't have a Cleat in the Glass subscription, highly recommend it. At the rim this season, he's finishing 58% of his shots, which is in just the 35th percentile. It's right on his career average. But the short mid, the floaters, he's at 63%. That's the 100th. So the best 100th percentile in the NBA on those little, not at the rim, but the little floaters, teardrops.
It just seems
rolls.
like them is
He
always
has
going
mastered
in.
that shot.
Them
He
is
really has.
That's
Well,
wild.
Last season, to give you comparison, maybe the biggest difference, he was in the 56th percentile last year, was making 44% of those shots. This year, up 19 points, 63%, up 44 spots in percentile in the 100th percentile.
See, that's why that's why we got you with the stats. You just articulated what I was just seeing. I just felt it in my heart. I said, in my heart of hearts, I said, he's making that every time. Shout out to the statistician himself.
Yeah.
Jason, what'd you take? We talked about it in the postgame show last night, but
I like Donovan coming out and asserting himself after a couple bad games. Mike has a package. I think he's going to play tomorrow, right? Are you playing it during the show?
we're going to play tomorrow. Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. On sort of a preview of OKC. I won't give away all the details, but there was some Donovan stuff in there. And Mike and I had a conversation where I thought, I don't know, maybe the knee's bothering him a little bit, or I don't know. And just came out and played really, really well last night. So that was good to see. And, G, to your point, I mean, Evan may be the best player on this team as early as next year at the way that he's fast-tracking this now and the way that he's progressing. And, you know, I've said it for years. If they're going to win a championship, he's got to be their best player. I've just the way the league has been built, and maybe that'll eventually change too, as we talk about.
Or at least right there with Donovan.
Right there with right. Like you're not going to get a ribbon. Okay, you're one and you're
right.
But you need to be at that level.
Yeah.
And a guy that you can go to in money time, and a guy who in Game 7 is not afraid of the moment.
That's when I want to see it. I want to see it against interior bigs, and I want to see it against the Bostons and OKCs late and close, and particularly in the playoffs.
I mean, let's see this year. If I would love to see Cavs Celtics postseason series this year. I think everybody would love to see that.
Doesn't it feel like that's a fait accompli?
I mean, we'll have to see how
Wouldn't count
they're
out the
seated
Knicks completely.
I'm still telling you guys about the Bucks. Like, the Bucks are a team with championship pedigree.
Yeah.
They've won a championship, and they don't care about the regular season. Just get them to the playoffs, and they've still got Giannis. So there are certainly other teams involved. But I just would love to see a Cavs Celtics postseason series where Porzingis is healthy and Mobley goes at him. And now let's see what you got, kid.
And the Cavs have home court.
And the Cavs, the way they're rolling, they're going to have home court. Yeah.
Mike, what's your takeaway?
Well, you guys mentioned Mitchell, so I'll ignore that. And Darius seems to be okay, whatever he tweaked his knee. But the Cavs zone has become a legitimate weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at these
Yes, that was huge.
junky defenses, whether it's a full court press, whether it's zone, and most of the times teams just kind of throw it out there to disrupt the rhythm. It works for a possession or two. Then they kind of get out of it because it's pretty simple to break. But for whatever reason, whether it's Max Strus' influence from Miami, where Spoelstra is the king of the 2-3 zone, and coming here and helping implement it, there have been 3 games I could think of, and there might be more. But Charlotte earlier in the season, the fourth quarter against OKC last week, and then last night against Indiana, where Atkinson has sat in that 2-3 zone for like 3-4 minute stretches and completely disrupted the other team's offense, and it happened last night again. And I think what's the most impressive and dangerous part about this Cavs zone is the size they have on the back line to utilize it. Back when I was playing,
Is that why it's so good?
well, they're doing something different. So when I played, it was a crucial sin if you allowed the pass to the high post. Like the foul line defeats the 2-3 zone. The Cavs are inviting that pass. They want you to make that pass, which goes against every like traditional 2-3 zone principle, because in today's basketball they want you to shoot that 15-foot shot.
Yeah.
They're saying pass it here. We're not even going to really step up. We're just going to have Jared or Evan contest the shot from 3-4 feet back, because if you want to take that shot, so be it.
Yeah,
it's a big man at the high post shooting a mid-range jumper. Like, that's exactly what our defense wants to give up.
So they're baiting him, and the teams are taking the bait.
And it's happened 3 times I could think of, and they may have done it more, and I just don't have that recollection of it. But Charlotte played right into what they wanted them to do. OKC played right into what they wanted them to do. And last night, Indiana played right into what they wanted to do.
At some point, though, teams are going to figure out what you figured out
Yeah,
and say,
well.
But if
don't take that shot.
But if they're not helping out, where are you kicking the ball to?
Right.
Yeah, well, it's got to be another option.
Exactly. So I'm sure it'll be adjusted, and teams
Yeah.
now there's more film on it.
That's
but
fascinating stuff,
Mike.
I'm just
They pointed
blown
it out
away.
on the
Yeah,
broadcast.
blown away by it.
They kept talking about that, Mike, on the broadcast last night. The fact that they were forcing them to take those shots, and I think that Indiana missed every time, or almost every time, on those shots. A couple other follow-ups here. We talked about the fact that Evan Mobley, and Mike, you brought this up, that you wanted to see, that you still felt maybe there were times against the best of the best big men that maybe he wasn't as aggressive going to the hole.
That's kind of changed over the last week and a half, too.
Right? Indiana's big guys are pretty good, no?
Yeah, Myles Turner.
Myles Turner's a good player.
Yeah.
He took, there were
He
a
sent
couple of
Siakam
plays.
to the hospital.
Oh, my God. That he just dunked all over him. That was impressive, and taking it from the top of the key to the basket, like, really strong. In terms of Darius Garland, one thing we have not pointed out today about Darius Garland is so impressive, amongst the many things that have been impressive about him, is his ability to dribble the ball into the paint and then kick out for the open shot. You see a lot of times guards will get into the paint and maybe they're indecisive. Maybe they thought they were going to be able to lay it up and the shot's not there, and then they get caught up and they turn over the ball. He's so good at penetrating and then kicking out for wide open threes. It's really noticeable to me how good he is at doing that.
And Mike, the more he makes those penetration shots, the more a threat he is to finish, which means he's going to be attracting more collapse defense, which is going to leave someone open on the perimeter. That's why it's so critical that he is driving and kicking.
He threw a pass yesterday. I tweeted about this. But he drove baseline. If I'm looking at the basket, he was on the right side, right wing, drove baseline, and with the right hand, wrapped the pass around to the left wing.
It was amazing.
The amount of body control, strength, and like mind-muscle connection, hand-eye coordination to turn the corner, turn your body, and deliver. And it hit Caris LeVert right in the hands. LeVert buried the triple. It was basketball sorcery, that kind of pass. And him and Donovan.
Yeah.
Donovan doesn't get enough credit for it either. They're both incredible at that specific asset.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why the Cavs offense has been so good. If you look at the best offenses in basketball right now, 3 of the top 5 in points per game are also 3 of the top 5 in drives and kicks per game. Cavs, Memphis, and Boston.
It's stunning to me that we're talking about definitively the Cavs being one of, if not the best offenses in the NBA. When last year we would watch them in stretches and say, what are they about?
How are they going to score?
Well, yeah, who's going to get buckets?
Now everybody. What's funny is last night we'd all agree that Donovan and Darius both played great, right?
Sure.
Neither one of them shot well from 3, right, Mike?
No, I'm pretty sure Donovan was 3 of 9. Darius was 2 of 8.
Yeah, they did most of their scoring inside the
In the paint.
3-point line. They were both that was the most aggressive I've seen Donovan.
That's a good sign.
That is a good thing. I want to hammer that home.
Yeah.
Is just because you have a bad shooting night does not mean you have to have a bad offensive night.
Right, sure. Stop shooting threes and score other ways.
Get to the basket. Put him in foul trouble. Darius Garland shoots 90% from the free throw line. You put him on the line, them is guaranteed twos. Then guys that are shooting really high percentages like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, when you break down the defense and you can lob to those guys, that's also helping your offense out. So, some nights the three ball isn't going to be there. And I think the Cavs are way too talented to just concede, the threes aren't falling, we're going to lose.
Right.
No, we could beat you in a number of different ways. And so I love the fact that they are getting to the rim and doing certain things to get easier shots if three-point shots aren't falling.
I know another thing that I really liked last night, Mike, and I'm curious because, it feels like with Caris LeVert in the past, it's either been he has a hot shooting night or he's useless. Well, last night, he couldn't hit a bucket at all, and he was far from useless. 7 assists, 5 rebounds. I think he had 2 block shots. He was doing he couldn't score yesterday, but he was a major contributor, I thought, when he was out on the court, even on a night which he wasn't scoring, which is unusual for him.
Is he a plus defender?
He could be.
Because it just seems like he has some...
I wouldn't call him a plus
tools.
defender. I don't think he's a liability necessarily, but I don't think he's...
I think defensively it looks like he looks better than this year. Last year sometimes he would just be in the sauce and he'd lose guys.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's playing harder. Maybe it's just the energy level that I see that makes me think that it's one of those things.
I don't know if it's harder. He just hasn't had those, oh my God, Caris LeVert, what the hell are you doing? Kind of games.
That's true. Mike, I know we're going to talk about Tommy Reese in a second, but I want to ask a question of the guys and you that I had a conversation with some fans yesterday about this, and I'm curious to get your thoughts. And I was surprised at my answer. Someone said, this team is more fun than the 16 Cavs. And we discussed, how would this team do against the 16 Cavs? And I found myself, I wasn't able to go against that comment. And here's why. 2016, we were supposed to be good. Even though we knew the Warriors were lurking in the West, we knew that we were a finals caliber team and that if things fell our way, that could be a championship season. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, you know what? This team is more fun than the 16 Cavs. I'm having more fun watching this team than I did watching the 16 Cavs in the regular season. Are you guys?
I'm dead inside.
Yeah. In the regular season, yes. Ultimately, if they don't win a championship.
No, that's to be judged at the end of the year.
I have thoughts on this at the end. Go ahead.
And we talked about this the other day. This team would not beat the 16 team.
No, I don't think they would.
Not. But obviously they're more fun because there's no way we expected them to be this good. And it's just it's a more pleasing style of basketball than the 16 team play. Nothing could be more fun than the finals that year. That was unbelievable.
So over
unless they sweep this year.
As the Browns became trash, I got in my YouTube time machine, and so I just started watching highlights of the Cavs teams, like the 2-hour highlights, House of Hoops highlights, where it's you watch, they're 2 hours worth of just season clips. So I went back from the time LeBron came back. And I started to watch, and I look, matter of fact, guys, you got to, don't throw away those teams before 14.
No.
Go back and watch the 08, 09 Cavs. Those teams were fun to watch and everything too. But when you go back and look at the 16 Cavs specifically, it was a different electricity. It was almost like the Beatles. When Kyrie was doing what he was doing, he had a highlighted night. LeBron James had multiple highlights every single night. It was just when they would get into that role and that mode of, we doing our thing, and they was tap dancing at the same time. You got 2 of the best ISO players of all time, and LeBron used to just be and people would be wide open. J.R. Smith, one of the most difficult shot makers. There's people all over. J.R. Smith is hitting that. And it's when you start to watch him, and especially when you get to the playoffs, it was unfair because LeBron and Kyrie was on a different level. But I can't say that this person that you're talking to is wrong because it's a preference thing.
Yeah, of course.
If you like ISO, that's the highest level of ISO ball you ever gonna see. But if you like ball movement and you like player movement and you like balanced play and you like people moving around and doing their thing in a well-balanced team, the Cavs do everything well. They pass, they can shoot, they cut, they play defense well. There's not a flaw in their game plan. I think it comes to a preference thing. And I think a lot of people saw the ISO ball a long time. We ain't seen this.
No, not
so
like this.
when you ain't seen this, it becomes a little more appealing.
Yeah. And part of it is prisoner of the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And part of
Yeah.
it is, let's face it, there's more likable guys on this team than that team.
Well, that's where I was going to go.
That's part of
I
this.
think if people enjoy watching this team better than 2016, it's because, number one, there's no drama.
Yeah.
LeBron, I love the guy. LeBron brings drama. And it's high theater. And they fired their coach in 2016,
Yeah,
guys.
no, they did.
They fired their coach.
That's right.
In first place. And it was the right decision.
Oh, yeah.
When it happened, I said, well, it's about time. What took you so long? And, think about that. First place team. I think they were in first.
Yes, they were.
And they fired their coach. So there was always drama with LeBron. And now, I always said that he ran up the bill from October to April, and then in May and June, he writes the check every time.
Yeah.
Every time he makes it all worth it. But all season long, there's always this drama involved with him. And there's none of that with this team. And there's another factor in this, that team skipped steps. That team went from really bad to championship contender like that.
In a year.
Because
And
of
that's
LeBron.
not because
In 1
LeBron.
year.
And it's not supposed to happen that way in the
No.
NBA. It's supposed to be
A progression.
a slow build.
Yeah.
And the only other team, I guess, Boston did that when they brought their big three together back in the day with
Yep.
Garnett and that. They sort of flipped it quick. But, again, the Cavs fired their coach and fired their GM because the rebuild looks like it's off track and it looks like it's a disaster. And then LeBron comes back anyway, and now you make the trade for Kevin Love. Kyrie signs his max, and you went from not even being a playoff team to having a big three like that.
Yeah.
And so fans were not allowed to organically grow
No,
with the
yeah,
team.
that's
It
true.
just went from bad to really, really good, and now we're going to win champion. And there was no progression to it.
Yeah.
Where with this team, there has been a very natural progression from horrifically bad and the coach running out of the building halfway through his first season to, okay, not so bad. Okay, here comes Jared Allen. Hey, they're a playing team. Hey, they made the playoffs, lost in the first round in New York. Man, these guys suck. To, hey, well, they won a playoff series, and now look at where they're at.
Yeah.
So you went through the natural honeymoon phases with this team. You got mad at this team. There was all these different things, and they've been together for a number of years now. So you feel like you know these guys now. Whereas some of that 16 team, they were thrown together, and the JR trade came and the Shump trade, and Kevin showed up, and Kevin's staring at the carpet the whole time, and he doesn't want to talk to anyone, and everyone's being mean to Kevin. And
Kyrie's his own miserable self.
Kyrie is on Mars and he's not talking to anyone. So there was, believe me, I lived it every single day. There was so much drama.
So is this more fun? Like you're on the inside.
I'm not there every day.
No, I know, but
was.
I'd love to hear. I wish maybe you can do a piece, Jay, where you talk to employees of the organization.
Oh, I guarantee you this is more
that were
enjoyable.
here in 16 and that are
Guarantee you.
still here, and have them tell with truth serum, compare the mood and the aura around this group compared to 16.
They got to finish the job.
They do have to finish the job,
Yeah.
but to this point, for me as a fan, it's been more
Of
fun.
course.
And they play hard every night. That team didn't play hard every night.
And Griff has talked about this openly. I think he talked to me for the book I wrote, but I know he's talked about this where it's like there is such a pressure that comes with LeBron coming back of you hold his legacy like greatest player of all time, if you want to have that, he's in the conversation, whether you believe he is or not. You hold his legacy now in your hands.
You better
and
win.
You have to deliver.
Yeah.
And Griff said, when he came back, it was right around Vegas because actually I was in the air. I was flying to Vegas when Lee Jenkins' piece dropped that LeBron was coming home, and it doesn't matter. Life instantly changed. The plane landed, and it was like I walked into a whole new world. But Griff was in his office at the facility, and he was in jeans and flip-flops, and he had the TV on in the background, and he was just finishing up last-minute things. He was getting ready to fly out to Vegas for Summer League, and Rich called him. Or no, sorry, I think Nate called him, Dan's partner. Rich had called Nate, I think, and I think Nate called Griff and said something to the effect of, the King's coming home, baby, or something like that.
Wow.
And Griff said, I just dropped to my knees in my office in like joy and jubilation, but then instantly it changed to this, oh my God, we've got to win. And just the pressure that came with that. There was pressure.
Yeah.
Every
And there's pressure
single
all the
day.
time, and there's pressure with this team, but not like that.
Not
Anywhere
like
near
that.
That
Not like
was
that.
because you're right. Had he played as long as he did in Cleveland and won championships in Miami and LA, but never won here, what a stain on anyone's
Absolutely.
resume who was associated with that.
So for anyone in the organization, this is much more enjoyable.
yeah,
I believe.
Okay,
Last thing, real quick.
sure.
One other reason why I think this is more fun. When LeBron was here, everybody's in Cleveland is very uptight about how they're perceived nationally. They're very self-conscious. Everybody's very self-conscious about that in Cleveland. When LeBron was here and they were doing great, it wasn't about the Cavs. It was about LeBron.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
Now it's about the Cavs.
You're right.
Yes, Donovan Mitchell's the best, but it's not about, Donovan Mitchell's the headliner, but it's about the Cavs. People are talking about the Cavs, not one player.
Right.